for a cleanse. Had to confirm the body from a glimpse. I get so high, I'm on the top of a blimp. She tryna get Uzi to pay all her rent. She tryna get kissed. I'm a rock star. Speaking of kiss, I rock out like I'm kissed. If I started this ish, I'ma finish this shit. Pockets stick out so I look like a hippie, and all of my pockets just got a life 50. I was in Philly just popping them pillies. I run from the cops when I'm popping a willy. I never train on yeet, that made my tizzy. One on my wrist like I'm doing the dishes. Throwing a rock, I hopscotch in the pot. Got a tropical up in these with the fishes.
Just realized my mic was off. What a start. Just wanted to say good afternoon, guys. Happy Monday. Played some unreleased music for y'all just to bless your ears. Lil Uzi unreleased tracks are always gold. But you know what else is gold? This episode. Because we're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff today. Like I said, we're going to be talking about conference awards. We're going to be talking about national awards as well. And in depth about who won those as well. I have stats written here just to give them a little extra spotlight because, well, let's just put it this way. They stole the show this year in terms of what they were able to do, these players. And then I'm going to go over my final top 25 or the LSL final top 25 poll. And then, as well as that, budgets. NIL budgets are a thing now. And I'm going to talk about the top 25 remaining budgets going into the offseason. This is not total, like, okay, what is it overall before factoring in who's already, on teams and such like that. But, it's still important to hear because there are going to be some teams on here that I think are going to be, how do I say it, are going to catch everybody completely off guard. Completely. And it'll shape how this offseason goes once we get to it. So, but yeah. Everybody, welcome back. I am Commissioner Daniel. Happy to have you all here. Hopefully I sound okay. And for those that are listening from work or from the classroom, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you giving the time to me and to the league. And so, with that said, I hope I am able to bring you guys an enjoyable episode today. So, starting off with, of course, the awards. Now, man, there are a lot of deserving names that, how do I say it, maybe flew under the radar this year in terms of the national level, but in terms of their conferences, you couldn't ignore them at all. So I'll just start right here, and we'll just go down the list one by one and listening to bro while still doing side quests. You and your side quests, man, like, you gotta put a cap on it. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break, Azuna. Anyways, so we're going to start with the American Conference, and I'm going to try and raise this up a little bit so that more of my face is seen. But I have the entire list here in front of me. It's a lot of names, but we're just going to go over it real quick, and the most important names will be mentioned. So I'm going to start off. The first team for this conference, I'll just list them off real quick. Connor Vanover for Houston, that's their center. At power forward, Jorge Aldo for Cincinnati. Pavel Zalikov from Houston, small forward. Shooting guard Marco Pons from Memphis, and C.J. Parker with Memphis. And player of the year in the American, it was between Pavel Zalikov and C.J. Parker, and it was actually given to Pavel Zalikov of Houston. Now, I would read off the stats that he recorded over the season, but I just didn't have the time to list all of that down. But the dude went nuts. He went nuts, and there's a reason why he's projected as a lottery pick in his draft class. So, and for those that do not know what the draft class is looking like, at least the first round, well, the first episode I talked about it. So, tune back, watch that, and you'll understand who else is there. But C.J. Parker was a close second. Second team, American, Tobias Paul from Memphis for their center. UCF's power forward, Severn Holden. Jacob Connor from Cincinnati at small forward. At shooting guard, it's Connor Hickman from Cincinnati. And then Marco Pons Jr., point guard of Houston. Yeah, well, look, Houston has been dominating the American for the past two, 3 seasons. So it's like, it's not a surprise to see all of these names be on there for him. So Vanover, Zelikov, and Pons Jr., all both excellent players. And we know about Akbar and Gervonta Percy, too, that have done really good things. So kudos to them. There is a small freshman team listing here. Not really significant because no one really got playing time in terms of the freshmen in this conference, but those that did get recognized for it. So, Roblox of Memphis, the center spot for this team. Power forward LeVar Joseph for SMU. Adam Searcy at small forward for SMU. Gojo Wolf at shooting guard for Memphis. And then Devin Navarre at point guard from Tulsa. So, only 2 recognizable names are there, Roblox and Gojo Wolf. We saw a good bit of them during March Madness, actually, and they're going to have an increased role next season for Memphis, so we'll see what the Tigers can do with that. And then the defensive team, or the all-defensive team in this conference, Connor Vanover at Houston, obviously. Lafayette Killinsway of Memphis at power forward. Pavel Zalikov, Houston, small forward. Marco Pons made this one for Memphis at shooting guard, and C.J. Parker as well. So, the usual names. And coach of the year for this conference is, of course, Mr. Zuko Ozuna of Houston. So, congratulations. Houston did a whole lot this year. Now for the ACC, and I'm going to try just to make these quick. There are a lot of names, but I'm just going to give everybody their flowers. For the first team, or I'll start off this way. The ACC Player of the Year, Duke center Quizish. He was nuts. I don't quite remember his stats. Or actually, yes, I do, but I may talk about them later. But anyways, the rest of the first team, so Quizish, obviously center for Duke, is there. At power forward, this is a surprising one given the season that his team had. Steve Reeves of Syracuse. His team sucked. He did not. He was awesome. At small forward, it's Terrence Edwards of Louisville who got this spot. Virginia shooting guard Anton Brookshire made the spot here. And then Jameer Jones of North Carolina got the point guard spot in this team. In the second team, there's King Mock of Virginia at center. Jaden James of Notre Dame at power forward. Wyatt Fricks of Notre Dame at small forward. Ray Harrison from Louisville at shooting guard. And then Josiah Pons from Virginia Tech at point guard. So, the star-studded team here and multiple future first-round picks. So, freshman team, there's really only a couple names on here that you'll be able to recognize. Of course, there's one that stands out amongst them all and was named Freshman of the Year for that reason. I also forgot to say they called Roblox Freshman of the Year in the American, but it doesn't really mean anything. He didn't really play much, but neither did any of the other freshmen. It was just one of those years, man. There's just so much star power, but also so much, veteran presence throughout the entire country. The young guys really didn't get to play much, but that changes quite a bit going into next season and beyond. I think now the tide will turn, and we're going to see more of the youth get better and bigger runs. So, but anyways, for the freshmen, the ACC Freshman of the Year is, without a doubt, it is Gru Ozuna of Louisville. He is the only freshman that actually had a starting role in the conference for any single team. And let me see who else got named here. Bryce Lee of Boston College at center. Doesn't mean much. Brian Briggs from Wake Forest at small forward. They were buns, but at least he shined. Optimus Davis of Notre Dame at shooting guard. That's a guy that'll be good for them in the future. And Abraham Sheffield from Pitt at point guard. All defensive team for ACC is Quizish of Duke, Zayden Williamson of Duke, Darian Stewart of Duke, Jeremiah Wyatt of Notre Dame, and Jameer Jones of North Carolina. A lot of Duke representation here, but the coach of the year for the ACC, despite everything, that has happened and how, it was a little bit of a rocky season for them. Well, because they made the Elite Eight, and you got to give your flowers to Houston O'Day of Louisville. So let's just put it this way. When it comes to how this season unfolded for Louisville, man, magical, almost, you could say, with the exception of, mid-season struggles here and there. Well, it's not really struggles, but just bumps in the road for Louisville, but it was a great season for them, considering everything, considering how they had to rebuild and reshape the team. So, great work for O'Day, and congratulations to him for winning the award. Now to the Big East, and again, just trying to make these quick. Now, Big East Player of the Year goes to Creighton's Cooper Laza, their center. He did some remarkable things. This guy is a projected sixth overall pick, in the LBA draft of his class, whenever we get to that. The rest of the first team in this conference, Jack Ryuga Marquette at power forward, Rowanoa Creed at small forward for Marquette, Xavier shooting guard Daniel Franks, and Providence point guard DeAnthony Robinson. So, the talented star-studded team. Big East was, I guess, the best conference in the land. They won the national championship again. So, and they had two teams in the Final Four. Second team Big East, Villanova center Kyrie Holmgren, Georgetown power forward Tyler Gaines, UConn small forward Prince DePina, St. John's shooting guard Riz Ish, and St. John's point guard Emery Woods. St. John's backcourt was really good this year. They're the reason St. John's backcourt really carried them. So, they both deserve their flowers there. The freshmen, how do I say it, were actually somewhat okay in this conference. Jordan Johnson was named Freshman of the Year in the Big East, the starting point guard for Villanova. He's going to be a weapon for a long time. That dude, 6'7" point guard. Cheat code. Absolute cheat code. And Cotton has him in his arsenal, which is crazy. But anyways, the rest of the freshman team in the Big East, Tez Bentley from St. John's, their center. Butler power forward Damon Haynes. Providence small forward Jamal Enamorado. Splash Frost, the Villanova shooting guard, and then, of course, Jordan Johnson. The defensive team from the Big East, Tommy John of Marquette, their center. Xavier power forward Khalil Donovan. Creighton small forward Malik Harris. Georgetown shooting guard Trey Dixon. And Xavier point guard Swiper Frost. Lot of X-Men on here, and it is without a doubt that, especially with how the season ended, it is Xavier Witherwolf that was named Big East Coach of the Year. Tremendous work that he was able to do. This guy, he brought a program out of irrelevancy and led him to a national championship. It's unreal. The story is unreal. We talked about it at good length last episode. I won't really go into depth about it this time around, but just know, his flowers are very much so deserved. Now, for the second best conference in the land, the Big Ten. And no one can argue with it now. No. The Final Four in the national championship really solidified it, but, it is what it is. Still a great conference. Now, surprise winner for Big Ten Player of the Year. It is Ohio State power forward Swanson Bohannon. The stuff he did for the Buckeyes, unreal. He's the reason why they even made the tournament. So, he deserved to be named Big Ten Player of the Year. The rest of the first team goes as follows. Rutgers center Jacob Stevens Jr., small forward from Michigan Oleg Zelikov, Penn State shooting guard VJ Veers, and Rutgers point guard CJ Hayes. Two Rutgers guys on here. Rutgers had a great year. Very solid year, considering everything. Very good year. Second team Big Ten. Wisconsin center Jack Hammer. Michigan State power forward will be center next season, Xavier Blake. Northwestern small forward Jordan Walsh. Maryland shooting guard Josh Powers. And Northwestern point guard DJ Love. And a couple Northwestern names on there. And those two also balled out. Reason why Northwestern got in. Josh Powers was really the heart and soul of that Maryland team. So he did good things in his 1 year there. Now, the freshman of the year in the Big Ten, it is another Buckeye. Jaden Robinson was really the only starter as a freshman in the entire conference, and he did good things. The sky's the limit for him, and Ohio State has a great future. Other names on here, Anthony Abrams from Minnesota, center. Purdue power forward Sean Ramsey, and a couple Ohio State names here. Isaac Crane at shooting guard, and Nathan Pike at point guard. Yeah, there's a reason why Ohio State is being looked at as the up-and-coming team of the Big Ten. They got a lot of good pieces. They got a lot of good young pieces. I do wonder how they'll go about roster construction going forward, if they build around them, or they just say, hey, listen, maybe you're not ready quite yet, a couple of those players. I don't know, but they're looking good. All defensive team from the Big Ten, Jacob Stevens Jr. from Rutgers at center. Swanson Bohannon, power forward, Ohio State. Chaz Harrison, small forward from Penn State. Ulrich McCullion, shooting guard from Wisconsin. And Jalen Rose, point guard from Michigan State. And even with, again, the second consecutive runner-up finish nationally, Noah Provo is still your coach of the year from the Big Ten. Still what he was able to do. Because I really didn't... No one really thought that Michigan could do it again. You know what I mean? Michigan, even with how good they were like, oh, they're good, but I don't think they were national championship good. No, they proved this wrong. Got back to national championship game. Didn't get it in the end, but still a big thing to be able to do. So, rightfully wins coach of the year. Big 12 now. Okay, this is an interesting one. For the conference. So... Big 12 Player of the Year goes to Curtis Freeman from West Virginia, their center. This is the second year in a row that he has won this award. Is it second? Maybe even third. I think it's second. At the very least, it's second. And he did great things. The rest of the team goes as follows. Jamarcus Huntington from West Virginia at power forward. Final Willie from OK State at small forward. Eamon Woods from Kansas at shooting guard. And Chance McMillan from Texas Tech at point guard. Second team, Simon Cranberry at center for Oklahoma. Plate power forward from Kansas. Jared Donovan, small forward, Iowa State. Jacob Wolf, shooting guard, Texas. And Clinton Bohannon, point guard for Kansas. Yeah. It's a lot of seniors, and the only two that aren't are Final Willie and Eamon Woods. Now, the freshman of the year in the Big 12 goes to Keon Beam of Texas. He was, from what I can see here, he was the only freshman starter in the conference. Rightfully so. Sometimes it's as simple as that in these kind of years. Here's who else made it. Alvaro Ovejero of Baylor at center. Trayvon Mayfair from Baylor power forward. Trey Green of Texas Tech at shooting guard. And Martavius Blake II at point guard from Texas. Defensive team for the conference. Simon Cranberry from Oklahoma at center. Plate is back here again. Maliko Mole at small forward for Kansas State. Jacob Wolf is here. And Baylor point guard Raku Krozovic is here. And look, what happened to West Virginia absolutely sucks in the national tournament in March Madness. What happened is a travesty. But it does not take away what River Mays accomplished in what is assumed his final season. There are rumors that he's retiring, and I hope not, but there are rumors of it. Outright Big 12 champs. 2 seed. Second straight season being a 2 seed. With West Virginia. He's done incredible work. I hope he returns, but if not, he is done well. He has done well in rebuilding West Virginia, and West Virginia is actually now a hot commodity. So, we'll see what happens. Now, we'll breeze by the Mountain West real quick. I'll make this one real quick. Mountain West Player of the Year is Taylor Funk from Utah State. This dude was nuts. This dude was absolutely insane. Ilyas Novitsky of San Diego State at center. James Davis from Boise State at small forward. I had a name for from Colorado State. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I'm just gonna move Kayvon Richards up to shooting guard for that. And we probably had a little error here or something. That's tough. And then Carlos Stewart from San Diego State at point guard. I must have had a little glitch here, but yeah, I'm not gonna go through all of these really. The most important names from the second team of the Mountain West: Nestor McClendon of Boise State at center, Mitty Gavin, power forward, New Mexico, T.J. Holmes, small forward, San Diego State. And again, I don't have anyone for Kayvon Richards. He was on my second team. I guess I'm bumping him up to first team automatically. Botched, just like the entire Mountain West season, I guess, right? Freshman team, it doesn't matter. There was no one notable from there. Defensive team, honestly, sure, why not? Elias Nowitzki of San Diego State, James Brook of Boise State, Juman Rollins of New Mexico, Jaden Money of Boise State, and Nick Jackson of New Mexico. And Kevin Pitt has won Coach of the Year again at New Mexico. So, yep, I think he is for sure retired, which is sad. But look, he did a lot of really good things with New Mexico. He had chances to leave. The dude had chances to leave. I told him, yo, drop the whole New Mexico thing. There are bigger things for you waiting for you. He stayed loyal to New Mexico. They did really good things. They made a Sweet 16, dude. He made a Sweet 16 with New frickin' Mexico. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, the Pac-12. This conference was interesting. Player of the Year, George Pierre, center of Arizona. This dude went nuts. And we saw how valuable he was to Arizona during March Madness in their, in their 3 games that they played. It's because they played Virginia Tech, then Cincinnati, and then fell to Wisconsin in the end, but not without a fight. The rest of the team, the first team goes as follows. USC power forward Chad Texas Jr., Cal small forward Tyler Hughes, Washington shooting guard Dayway Malachi Johnson, and Colorado point guard Braden Smith. I think there's a certain coach that is no longer there, but knows that name. Second team Pac-12 goes as follows. Jaron Jones II from USC at center. Quizis III from Oregon at power forward. Luka Romanovsky from UCLA at small forward. Rob Jones from UCLA at small forward. Or shooting guard, excuse me. And Zane Archer from Cal at point guard. So Cal got 2 of their freshmen in these all conference teams. Impressive. Very impressive. Which brings me to the freshman team of the Pac-12. This might be the funniest thing because I've never seen it like this. So, first of all, Tyler Hughes, freshman of the year in the conference. No-brainer. No-brainer at all. And this might not be the last time we hear about him. Here's the rest of it. It's literally just Cal's starting lineup. Nobody else played their freshmen. Nobody else had freshmen. It was only Cal in this conference that actually played their freshmen. So, I'll just read them off. Texas Chicken, Tyreek O'Bane, Booger Bohannon, and Zane Archer, alongside Tyler Hughes. Cal swept this thing. And they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. The defensive team, the all-defensive Pac-12 team. Jaron Jones II from USC at center. Rich Elias from Washington at power forward. Sina Ugo from USC at small forward, Dennis Elias from Oregon at shooting guard, and Zane Archer from Cal at point guard. Look at Zane Archer. Look at Zane Archer. Second team Pac-12 for the all freshman team, and now the all defensive team. He was nuts. And even with all the Cal names, there is one name here for Coach of the Year. There has only been one for the entire season. It is Sean Franks of Oregon. Finally did what he set out to do in the Pac-12. Won the regular season title and the tournament title. He did both. Finally. It took him a little bit, but kudos to him. And he did it. The all-Cal team, for real, dude. For real. I don't know if we'll see anything like that again. We could. Maybe. If somebody decides to just be like, alright, I'm just going to build a whole core freshman and we'll go from there. I think somebody might do it, but I don't know if they'll have the same success as Cal. Now, is a success because they kind of squeaked into the tournament and it was an expanded field? I don't know. But they made it. They looked alright. And they've got notable names. So we'll see. We'll see about that. You, not yet, buddy. You got you got returners and all that. There's no way you're starting all freshmen. Anyways, now we go to the SEC. One of my friends calls it the SEC. It pisses me off, but that's my homie. I can't get too mad at him. Anyways, the player of the year for the SEC. It's our favorite giant, Yao Migo, Tennessee. What he did this year, what he did the past like 3 seasons, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous what he was able to do. And he is, I think he's my 2nd overall projected pick in his draft class. So he's going to be highly coveted. He's going to be a force in the NBA. Absolutely he will. So here's the rest of the first team in the SEC. Power forward Jacob Johnson, Ole Miss. Small forward Derek Bone of Missouri. Shooting guard DeAndre King of Auburn. And point guard DJ Mayo of Auburn. His career almost ended his damn freshman year. Wait, how? His career almost ended his damn... You gotta remind me of that, because I don't remember what happened there. Second team SEC... Here are the names there. Emerick Toussaint, center of Texas A&M. Shamori Pons, power forward of Tennessee. I think he's now going to be Tennessee's new center. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Yao Migo did deal with injuries. Well, he didn't. His career wasn't over, man. His career was never going to be over. The man always bounced back. Anyways, DeQuavion Mayo, small forward of Tennessee. Jack Jackson Jr., shooting guard of Ole Miss. And Marshall Mathers, point guard of Florida. So... a few Tennessee names in there, couple Auburn names. Surprisingly, the 2 best players from Ole Miss, even though they were kind of mid this year. Freshman team SEC, honestly, not even worth going over. Not a single SEC team this season had any freshmen on their roster, which is surprising. So, not going to go over it. The all SEC defensive team, Toshi Ozuna of Missouri at center, well deserved. Chris Dill from Auburn at power forward. DeQuavion Mayo of Tennessee at small forward. Jack Jackson Jr. from Ole Miss at shooting guard. And Marshall Mathers again at point guard from Florida. And you already know. Jack Frost, SEC Coach of the Year. Even with Auburn's tournament shortcomings and all these early endings for them, dude still does incredible work in the SEC. Well deserved. Well deserved for Auburn. So, and last but not least, this is dragged on for a bit too long. The WCC. And I'll make this one quick. Kyle Ryuga, WCC Player of the Year. Well deserved. This guy went crazy. Had some stints here and there with Air Force and, Arkansas, but then finds his home at BYU. Did great. First team WCC goes as follows. Darius Hannah at center for BYU. Jacob Huntington, a small forward from Gonzaga. Gary Brooks, shooting guard from St. Mary's. And Elijah Hawkins, point guard from St. Mary's. Second team is this. DeAndre Markell from Gonzaga. Michael Forbes at power forward for Loyola Marymount. Cordell Workman, small forward BYU. Gibson Jimerson, shooting guard BYU. Rex Renegade, point guard Gonzaga. So... really, a lot of BYU and Gonzaga names, a couple St. Mary's names in there. No reason to talk about the freshman team. Defensive team, DeAndre Markell, center, Gonzaga. Kyle Ryuga, power forward, BYU. Cordell Workman, small forward, BYU. Colt Bowers, shooting guard, Gonzaga. And Erwin Hudson, point guard of BYU. Impressive. And Caleb Hammer, senior, WCC Coach of the Year. Without a doubt. Swept the conference, dethroned Gonzaga, and almost made the Sweet 16. Tough battle against UConn that they just could not get, but they were almost there. Now, before I dive into these individual awards, I'm going to just go over... or actually, no, I'll go over the individual awards first, and then we'll talk about the All-Americans nationally. Alright, so, this is a big one, right? I'm first going to be talking about the Bob Cousy Award, which is for National Point Guard of the Year. This is a huge honor that anyone can get. And these following ones are also the same exact way. So, the winner of this year's Bob Cousy Award for the nation's top point guard, it is C.J. Parker of Memphis. Let me tell you about him. 23.8 points per game, only 2.6 assists per game, but it really wasn't his playmaking that really stood out as it was how he was able to score. This guy was the engine that made Memphis run. 56.6 field goal percentage, 49.3% from 3, and 96.7% free throw. Bro. Ridiculous numbers. Even if they are in the American, where there are only like 3 solid teams, it's still ridiculous. And we saw what he was able to do in March Madness with Memphis as they went from the play-in round to the frickin' Sweet 16. That's all I gotta say. Give the flowers to CJ Parker. Now, for the Jerry West Award, the nation's best shooting guard. This one is recaptured by DeAndre King of Auburn. Dude, these guards from Auburn are crazy. They're sick, man. And DeAndre King, this is the second time winning. Second time winning this award, dude. Impressive work. Let me tell you about him. 26.8 points per game, 3.3 assists per game. But here are these shooting stats. 56.5% from the floor, 47% from 3, 94% from the free throw line. One of the heart and souls of Auburn throughout the last 4 or 5 seasons. Man, Auburn's going to be looking so different next year. Even with Chris Dill and Perry Percy returning. Dude, they got to replace their guards and their wing. That's not going to be easy to do, but maybe it will be. We'll see about that in later in this episode. Now, the Julius Erving Award for the nation's best small forward this season, it goes to Roronoa Creed of Marquette. Man, I don't remember the last time a non-senior won this award besides DeAndre King, or any positional award besides DeAndre King. Or it could be actually Jaren Jones the second as well. There are a few, but not many. But anyways, what this guy did for Marquette, incredible. 24 points a game, 5.2 rebounds a game, 3 assists per game as well. 2.6 blocks per game, alongside 1.3 steals per game. Ridiculous stuff. 51% from the floor, 42% from 3, 88.5% from the free throw line. This dude just got the job done, and he really stepped up once he was given that starting opportunity. And even though Marquette couldn't go back-to-back and they couldn't even make the Elite Eight, dude, he still had a great season. So I think, honestly, it was between him and Pavel Zelikov. But really because of Marquette's success and how they were able to get, back-to-back 1 seeds, got to give it to him. Now, the Karl Malone Award. This is for the top power forward in the country. This season, it goes to West Virginia's Jamarcus Huntington. Dude, West Virginia's front court the last few years has been, how do I say it? Terrifying. Terrifying for everybody that had to go up against them. And for good reason. I talked about Curtis Freeman before. We already talked about Jamarcus Huntington, but he was the best power forward of the entire bunch. 24 points per game, 9.5 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists per game, almost 3 blocks per game. Nuts. 52.2 field goal percentage, 43.4% from 3, and 92% free throw. Is this the year Yao get a national award? We will see. Well, it's coming up, right? Because the next one is the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award for the top center in the entire country. And, man, there were a lot of names. A lot of names that could have won this thing. But there was only one that really stood out from the rest. And this guy is the future number 1 overall pick, Quizish of Duke. His stats are absurd. What he did at Duke. Oh my gosh. Hear this. 31 points per game, 12.5 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, 1.7 steals per game, 3.2 blocks per game. And then the shooting percentages are ridiculous. 61% from the floor, 55.3% from 3, 88% from the free throw line. Bro. He's the reason why Duke was so good. They had other really good starters, but he was really the main reason. He was so good. And one of the most impressive seasons I've ever seen. Now, before we get to the Wooden Award, we have a National Freshman of the Year award winner too. It is Tyler Hughes of Cal. Yeah, this guy is going to be a future Wooden Award winner. I'm calling it right here. What he's been able to do with Cal, impressive. Now we get to talk more about him and what he did with the Bears. 22.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, 1.2 steals per game, and 2.3 blocks per game. His shooting splits, 52.5% from the floor, 42.5% from 3, and 94% from the free throw line. By far the best freshman that we saw this season. By far. Zane Archer is a close second, but still not close enough. So, hell, the way it's looking, all freshmen will just be Cal. Well, we will get to that. Now, before we get to the Wooden Award, it has to be said that without a doubt, Xavier Wolf is your National Coach of the Year. Won a national championship with a team. He just got there. Bro just got there, won a national championship. Who else are you going to call Coach of the Year? Name somebody. You can't. Because they didn't win a national championship in year 1. Love it or hate it, it's just facts. It's just facts. And well deserved too for Wolf. Came out of retirement and did that. Crazy. People should take notes. Peanut butter cracker incentives, breaking kneecaps, tearing ACLs and meniscuses, offering Chick-fil-A NIL deals, Expedia NIL deals, and threatening to ship their starters to Yemen, Iraq, Wisconsin Whitewater, Cancun. Man, this stuff works, I guess. I guess it works. Take notes, fellas. Anyways, it's time for your 2035 Wooden Award winner. And honestly, when it comes down to it, it couldn't be more obvious. It is Quizish. Best player of the entire country. Period. Flat out. No ifs, ands, or buts. What he did, absolutely ridiculous. And almost, getting it done for Duke in terms of winning the ACC. They were close. Just couldn't get it done. North Carolina was also a really good team, but Duke really, really needed a guy like Quizish. And he came through. He came through in a big, monster way. And I'm happy to at least see that because he was stuck at Arkansas. Dude. He cursed himself by going to Arkansas for 2 years. It's tough. And also, this, I should have said this before. Quizish, this is his second time winning the Wooden Award. I don't know if this has ever been done before, but Quizish has won this thing once before at UCLA. He is the first player, I think, in the entire history of college basketball to win the Wooden Award twice, but each of those 2 times were not on the same team. Bro thinks he is Zach Edey. Well, brother is better than Zach Edey. So, it's absolutely ridiculous. And at 2 Blue Bloods, by the way, too. UCLA and Duke. Crazy. But, yeah, absolutely ridiculous what he did. And, yeah, dude. 30-plus points per game. Bro. At the shooting splits as well. There's a reason why I listed him as my number 1 overall pick in that class. There's a reason. There is a reason. So, whoever gets the number 1 overall pick for that draft, you may just have yourself a generational player. You may. Well, that said, folks, we can now move on from the awards list. I know these were long awaited, and I'm sorry that it took a while. A lot of stuff been going on. So, the best thing that I could do is to bring it on the show here and just talk about it. Maybe later on this week I'll make graphics for them. I'm not too sure. I can't guarantee, but at the very least, they will be right here on YouTube if you ever want to go back and see, okay, who won what. Now, we can comfortably now move on to the next segment, which is my final top 25, or the LSL poll final top 25 for the season. I'll just take water real quick. Invest in the 1-gallon jugs, people. They are great. Anyways, yeah. Crazy season. Absolutely crazy season, and it shook out in such an unpredictable way. Predictable in some ways, unpredictable in many others. But now we get to talk about the top 25 and how it has finished for this season, for this past season. So we'll start off, and I'll make this quick. And wrong one. And number 25, I have Florida. Second time in a row in episodes I clicked the wrong one, but it's all good. Florida is my number 25 team. They were good. They were solid in the SEC. A very good record, just not the best conference, especially in terms of top to bottom. It was heavy up top, weak at the bottom. But they still did well, and they had a chance to go to the Sweet 16. Oregon denied them. Denied them in a pretty convincing way, but still good enough to make my top 25. Next spot at number 24 are the Pokes. So this team could have very well been in the Sweet 16. We got to talk about their game between Houston. Oh yeah, you're right, the All-Americans. I'll talk about that after this final top 25. You're right. Good. Thanks for pointing that out. We'll do that. I just saw them here, thankfully. Thanks for pointing that out. But we'll run through this final top 25 real quick. OK State's at number 24. Like I said, could have been in the Sweet 16. Just wasn't meant to be. Low-key choked away a lead against Houston. Tough. But, they're going to be better off for it, I think. They return so much. There's a reason why I have them as my way too early number 2 team in the country. Yeah, almost forgot. You're right, boys. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. At number 23, I've got the Baylor Bears. They were also somewhat close to making the Sweet 16. That battle between them and Rutgers was really good. Too bad Booger Bohannon, not Booger Bohannon, Booger McFarland, excuse me. Booger Bohannon's on Cal, Booger McFarland's on Rutgers. Too many boogers out here, Akbar. What are we doing? Windmill dunk to take the lead on Baylor and to basically shut that game up. One of the most ruthless things I've seen in a tournament game ever. But solid team. They were good. They weren't great, but they were good, as I thought they would be. At number 22 are the Providence Friars. They had a really good season. It just, man, the way it ended was brutal. 91-65 L against Kansas in the round of 32. Dude, they got demolished right out the gate, and we're playing catch up the rest of the way, and nothing worked. Nothing really worked against Kansas. That team just had their number. Straight up, they had their number. And it's unfortunate, but I like what Providence can do going forward. So, number 21 for me is Villanova. It's unfortunate that they lost the Battle of Pennsylvania to Penn State. Maybe they could have been the ones in the Elite Eight playing against Michigan State, and maybe even then that's assuming they would have been able to do what Penn State did against Marquette, which was a banger game. I don't know how that would have turned out if it was Nova there, but they were still good enough. Had a really good first season under Cotton, or I guess a good season under Cotton with him being back for first time in a while. Let's put it that way. So things are looking up for them, and it's a good finish for them. And number 20, I got BYU. Obvious. They had a really good season. They only have 2 losses to their name, to BYU and then to UConn. So 2 Big East teams that were able to knock them down, and the second loss was unfortunately the one that ended their season. But it was a really, really good campaign for them. So they deserve the spot. And number 19, I have West Virginia. So you're going to be looking at me thinking I'm crazy. Did I really just drop down West Virginia all that much? Well, let's put it this way. When it comes to who made the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, Final Four, and all that, in these final polls, they get precedence because it's a metric, and it's a fair one at that too, somewhat, but still. You make the Sweet 16, you're considered a top 16 team of that season. Simple as that. Simple as that. So, West Virginia at number 19. Unfortunate end to them to their season. This doesn't take away from what they did or what they accomplished. And really, it's just about what the picture is at the end of the season. It does not take away what they did throughout. So, that's all I can say about that. North Carolina is my number 18 team. Basically, same thing as West Virginia, except they survived the round of 64, but then lost to Memphis. Still a really good season for them. Winning the ACC, did what they needed to do. Smith has got a lot of work on his hands, but I think that we will get to see the best of North Carolina, once Smith constructs his roster the way he wants to. After this offseason, it will finally be his team, like for real. So, I'm excited to see what happens. At number 17, I have Auburn. Yep, so just like West Virginia, dropped them like crazy because they didn't make the Sweet 16. It is what it is. Make the Sweet 16, it's a different story. Auburn was still good, and this doesn't take away from it. It is what it is. You didn't make the Sweet 16. You got upset by Louisville in the round of 32. It is what it is. And I am interested to see what Frost does going forward. Now at number 16, because I mentioned all of this, I think everybody understands what's coming up next. Yep. Call me a psycho. I did it. Bucknell at 16. They made the Sweet 16. Okay. They get that spot. They get their flowers for making history, for achieving something that no one has ever done in LSL. So, no 15 seed has done in LSL, excuse me. So, here you go. Your little one shining moment after your one shining moment, Bucknell. Or your multiple one shining moments, to be honest. They had a good tournament, even if it did end at the hands of Michigan State. Number 15 for me is Rutgers. They had a really good season. And this is about the spot that you'd expect them at. So it's like oh, they're back where they were before. Really good team. It sucks that it can go past the Sweet 16. Ran into a buzzsaw in Creighton at the time, but it doesn't take away. They still had a great season. And I'm sure that Pons will always take that and run with it, especially with this being his best team that he's ever had. So I don't know how he'll do things from here, but I'm confident that Rutgers is in good hands. Number 14 for me is Memphis. Excellent tournament that they had. I wonder what the American will be like going forward, because I think now there's a chance for Memphis to really somewhat catch up to Houston in a way. I don't know how they're going to do it, because I think Houston's got a little bit more, how do I say it, resources to their name, let's just put it that way. But great season for Memphis, and again, making the Sweet 16 is something you can never take away from a squad. So, good for them. Number 13, Kansas. I could have moved them up a little bit more. Maybe I should have, but at the end of the day, even if it was a loss at the final seconds, they still got upset technically. So they could be a little higher, but they're not. Still had a good season, really good season. Not for Kansas standards, but for standards of the country. So they're here at 13. Number 12 for me is UConn. Man, still crazy to think that Notre Dame coaches, how do I say it? That Nathan Pike's dad, Michael, bested him in this season. It's crazy. And I know that dude will be taking it personally going into next season. But look, we know UConn and how talented they were. They're going to be so different next season, but hey, they still had a good season. They made the Sweet 16, man. They made the Sweet 16. No shame in losing to Michigan at that point. They did well. They did well. My number 11 team is Duke. It's unfortunate that they got blasted by Houston in the Sweet 16, but this was a damn good team. A very good team. And it's one that will also be looking very different next season. Quizish is going to be gone. Basically, their entire starting five is gone. So, I wonder how Duke is going to look next season. Vanilla's got a lot of work to do. Number 10 for me is Wisconsin. Another team that unfortunately could have, fell in the Sweet 16 to a really good Oregon team. Great battle, but they had a great season overall. Dude, they finished runner-up in the Big Ten overall. I didn't expect that from them. Like, I think I had them ranked in like the 20s going into this season, or maybe even unranked, but I think I had them at least ranked in the 20s. Dude, what a surprise from Wisconsin. And they were so fun to watch throughout this tournament. So, good on Richter. I hope that he's able to build off the success. And number 9 is Marquette. You know, it sucks. Couldn't repeat, couldn't go back-to-back. But they still won the Big East regular season title. And they still at least made the Sweet 16. It's not one of those situations where you're a defending champion, you fall in the round of 32. You at least made it to the second weekend, so at least that. And, hey, it is what it is. Still a damn good team, and they get their flowers for it. Number 8 is Louisville. You make the Elite 8, you get a top 8 spot. Louisville deserves it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. A great team. I wonder what they're going to look like post this season. Gruazuna's their only returning starter. But man, that team was special. Terrence Edwards with all the shots he hit. Ray Harrison, dude balled like crazy. Devontae Deadly also had a really good season. And Grant Malloy did some good things for them too. So they had a really good season. So kudos to Louisville. And number 7's Penn State. Dethroning the national champs from last season. That's something. No matter how your season goes from there, or how the rest of your tournament goes, that's still a huge accomplishment. Penn State achieved a lot and bounced back in a great way. Remember, this team got upset by 15 seed Oral Roberts last year and blown out too. Blown out. Huge bounce back. Huge bounce back when I didn't think it was going to really happen. They proved a lot of people wrong. So good on Reeves. And hopefully they're able to do more with this. And number 6, I have Houston. Unfortunate, man. They had a good lead on Michigan. Couldn't hold it in the Elite 8, but hey, at least they made it. This is their furthest, how do I say it? Their furthest run in LSL history in terms of March Madness. So I think Houston can take the next step forward. Azuna's just got to be on his A game when it comes to this offseason. Number 5 is Oregon. 4 points away from making the Final Four. Unfortunate, but incredible season for the Ducks and for Franks. Star-studded team. Did all they could. Just wasn't enough. That's all it is. Now, for my top 4, and this is evident, so I'll just go about these really quickly. Number 4 is Creighton. The reason I have them here is simply because of the fact that they got blown out in the Final Four. But doesn't take away from the season that they had. Had a really good season. Michigan State's my number 3. Could have, man, it could have been a Michigan State National Championship game. It could have been. Spartans just could not do it in the end. But man, they gave Xavier one hell of a fight. And obviously this leaves us with Michigan number 2 and then Xavier number 1. So it's obvious I don't really have to talk about it, but I will show this real quick. The final poll right there. And my 5 teams out of this thing, but are next up: Tennessee, New Mexico, Missouri, Maryland, Washington. They all had solid seasons, so I'll give them credit there. And I'll leave this up. I'll real quick read the All-American lists for you to not forget that. I know you guys are here for that, so here's how we'll do this. First team All-Americans is basically the award winners. C.J. Parker of Memphis, DeAndre King of Auburn, Roweno Akreed of Marquette, Jamarcus Huntington, West Virginia, and Quizish of Duke. Now, second team is where things get interesting. At center, it's Yao Amiga of Tennessee. At power forward, it is Andrew Funk of Utah State. Of small forward, I'm like tripping over my words here. At small forward, it is Pavel Zelikov of Houston. At shooting guard, it is VJ Veers of Penn State. And at point guard, it is DeAnthony Robinson of Providence. And we have a third team as well. At center, it is Curtis Freeman of West Virginia. At power forward, it's Swanson Bohannon of Ohio State. At small forward, it's Willie Jackson of North Carolina, which is strange now that I think about it. Why did he not make an all-conference team? Probably injury? I don't remember, but he should be on there. We'll have to re-edit that. Anyways, Daniel Franks from Xavier is at shooting guard for this team, and Jameer Jones from North Carolina is at point guard for this spot. Yeah, I'm going to have to edit this little key. It is what it is. Now, freshman team All-Americans. At center, it's Texas Chicken of Cal. At power forward, it is Guru Zuno of Louisville. At small forward, it is Tyler Hughes of Cal. At shooting guard, it is Splash Frost of Villanova. And at point guard, it is Zane Archer of Cal. Solid season for all those guys. I am impressed with what we got to see from them. And next season could be a lot of fun again. And it should be, and I hope that it is. Now, one last thing that we'll do, we'll just quickly gloss over the top 25 remaining budgets going into this offseason in terms of NIL. Meaning, well, this is power to build roster, eh? It's important. It means something. So, I expect for this offseason to be chaotic. I expect for this offseason to bring some change. What do I mean by change? We have had too many instances where like user recruits don't get as many offers as they want because, well, we know in the past these other players, let's just put them that way, have been valuable. Yes, they do carry weight, but maybe a little too valuable. So with these changes going into effect, I think we're going to see an uptick in user recruitment, which we need. So, with that said, the top 25 budgets going into this offseason. At number 25, Oklahoma State, and I have the estimated budgets written on the screen for you. A little over $5 million for the Cowboys. And they only need to fill 5 spots. Things are looking good for them. Things are looking good for OK State. They got money. And number 24, it is Texas. They got just a bit more than OK State, it's estimated, and it's needed because they got a young core that they need to build around. Creed's got some money to work with, and I hope that he uses it. And number 23, it is Florida. A little bit more of an uptick here. Again, I don't know where Stanford is. I hope he returns and continues coaching Florida, but if not, this budget will actually increase because, well, the players that are expected to return to Florida will probably transfer. So, we'll see how that goes. And number 22, I have Wisconsin here. Just a smidge above Florida here. And it's a good budget here. They have 7 spots left that they need to fill. And with that kind of money, I think they'll get it done in a quality way. At number 21, Sparty. Sparty with just a bit more. An extra $200K looks like it in estimates. That will need to come in handy in a big way. They have 9 spots to fill. And whoever takes the mantle at Michigan State, because Bolt is retiring, will need to manage this very well. And by managing, it also means recruiting the right players. Because remember, recruiting users, hey, all of these donors and these NIL bases, they've told all these coaches, hey, you bring in these user recruits, we will help you with paying them. There is incentive, and so you gotta hop on that. Especially if your team doesn't have a big budget to work with. And number 20, it's Washington, $5.4 million. Pretty good for the Huskies, and well deserved too. What they've been able to do throughout their history in LSL, and with their most recent revival under Blake, they got something to work with. 9 spots though. We'll see how they manage it. Number 19, it is Oregon, $5.8 million estimated. We'll see who takes over if Franks is not to return. It's an if. We don't know if he will or not, but we'll see. At number 18, we got Florida State. Just a smidge above, just a little bit. An extra $40,000. But still, an important offseason ahead for Florida State if they do find a coach, that is. I haven't heard from Miller in a while. I don't know where that dude has went. So, if anyone does take over Florida State and can continue what Tyler Knight did, good on them. At number 17, there we go, got it to work. It is UConn. They got a hair more to work with, just a hair. Decent budget here for Mike Pike. So it's a weird saying it, Mike Pike. It rolls off the tongue in a way. He's only got 2 players on his roster right now, but one of them will probably blossom into this beast, is my projection. But this is decent. This is a decent budget to build the roster with, so we'll see how he does. At number 16, it is Xavier, the national champs. Got $6 million plus to work with, and most importantly, they have Swiper Frost back. So that's a dude that they can build around, and they should build around. I'm sure Wither Wolf will succeed once again. And number 15, I got West Virginia. The Mountaineers, man. With what Mace has been able to do there, he has racked up a lot of support and a lot of NIL backing. And West Virginia is going to be a team that hopes to stay in the national picture for a long time to come. And number 14, we got a blue blood here, Kentucky, at $6.35 million. Low key, everybody should think to themselves, why is it not more? They're blue blood, right? Where's the success been the last 3 seasons? It's been non-existent, and it's still a healthy budget for a guy like Orochi Lee Sr. to work with, and we'll see what he's able to do if he's actually going to be there this time around to build his team. And number 13 is Rutgers. Dude, what Rutgers has been able to do has received a lot of great, how do I say it, support. This dude Pons thought he was going to be working with a small budget. Not at all. Not at all. 9 spots, and you got $6.5 million to work with? Pretty good. And number 12, we got Houston. Just a little bit shy of $7 million, 6.86. For a team in the American, that is a lot. That is a lot. And that's important too. That's important. Teams will be able to build good all-around teams this way, and hey, if you have something left over in your budget, you might be able to even apply it in terms of off-season training. Who knows? At number 11, I have Tennessee, and they are a little north of $7 million. That national championship win is still, how do I say it, funding them. Let's put it that way. And it's not like they've been terrible ever since. No, they've been all right. But still, winning that national championship is very valuable. So, and they have a few good players on their team that they can build around. 9 spots to fill. I think they get it done. At number 10, it's Louisville. Louisville has got $7.25 million to play with, and they have seven spots to fill. I think something like that. So that's going to be a fun time for O'Day this offseason. Just figuring out how he wants to go about things, and of course, what does he want to do with building around Guruzuna? That's the biggest question of them all. Number 9 is North Carolina. They have over $8 million to work with, and they need it badly because their roster is going to be looking so much different next year. So many dudes leaving. You got some grad transfers mixed in as well. Just a lot of seniors that are no longer going to be able to be there. And so, here they are. Got a whole lot to work with. 10 spots to fill. I'm interested in North Carolina's off-season actions, let's put it that way, and what they will do. At number 8, it is Kansas, and they are sitting pretty at $8.6 million, and they have, I think, about 5 spots to fill? 4 spots, something like that. Teeter, man. That dude Teeter sitting pretty in that blue blood royalty chair of his. They're gonna do work. At number 7 is one that is going to surprise everybody. It even surprised me. Well, no, it didn't, based on their history. Enter LSU. LSU, over $9 million to work with. Whoever decides to take on the opportunity at LSU will be working with a lot of resources. LSU has been very successful in the past and even recent past in LSL, in this league, and they're considered a damn near blue blood level program, which is ridiculous. So they have a lot of resources to work with, and it'll be fun to see if anyone takes up that opportunity, because certainly Louisville wants to be back, and they are putting in a lot of resources and throwing it out there. Hey, we got this much that you can build a team with. Please get us back. At number 6, it is Duke. With 9 spots to fill, they have a little north of 9.3 million, 9.35 to be almost exact. It's a guesstimation, or it's an estimate. Badly needed. They lose so many guys: Quizish, Zayden Williamson, Darian Stewart, Mustafa Mole, and who are their point guard? Justin Avery III. So Vanilla's got a lot to work with this offseason. At number 5, it is Auburn, and they got over 10 million. It pays to be dominant. It pays to be dominant, and it pays to have a good history. And Auburn has had a really good history in LSL. So they got money. And they're going to have all the opportunities in the world to build, once again, a really good team around Perry Percy and Chris Still. And they're going to need to do that. They got to support their big men. At number 4, it is a team that slipped up a bit this year, but I think they're going to be back. Barring any other injuries, it's going to be Iowa. 10.37 mil estimation. Again, those 2 national championship wins do the job. All of their draft picks pay the bills, basically. Like these are all things that everybody should be striving for. Winning titles, getting your players drafted high, and winning awards. Iowa has been doing that with Coach Zelikov and with Wolf. And with Wolf now in charge, I'm interested to see how he goes about this. At number 3, I've got Marquette. Here at an estimated 11.32 million. Golly, dude. You talk about a team with a rich history in LSL, it's this team, Marquette. With 1 national championship, but a whole bunch of Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, Final 4s. And this dates back to when they had Holt running the show, and now it's Nala. So, dude, it just keeps going for Marquette. And they're going to have so much to work with. And they only have 7 spots to fill. They're going to be dangerous again. At number 2, it's going to be Gonzaga, dude. For being in the WCC, what they have been able to do is ridiculous. You make the Final Four that many times, you're going to get the backing, and we know that Gonzaga is in real life getting towards that level of like getting this insane funding. So checks out, especially with what they've been able to achieve in LSL. And number 1, it's Michigan. Who else did we expect here? Provo has got 11.5 million to work with. Oh boy. Go back to the first episode when I put Michigan at number 19 in my way too early top 25, and at the end of it, when I talked about them, I said they will not be this low when we make the preseason poll, or we have another way too early poll after the offseason. Dude, the resources that they have is ridiculous, and it pays. Most national championships in the history of LSL, a whole bunch of Elite 8, Final 4, and national championship appearances. They're the standard. They are the standard. And you got to knock them off. Who's going to do it? I don't know. But Michigan is the standard. So I did not make a graph or a chart or a list with these top 25 teams, but you get the gist. These teams got money. These teams have power going into the offseason, and most importantly, they have a huge opportunity to rebuild and recreate themselves in the way that they want to to be made and to perform. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But folks, with that said, we've been running for over an hour. Man, for those that have stuck through, by the way, thank you. It's been a long episode, and this is one of those where it felt like this was more of something that we bring out the lists and all that for. So I appreciate you guys staying for that. It's still important, and this is all important knowledge that will now be up here for those to look back on and react to later when they're able to watch this episode. And for those that do that later on, just a piece of knowledge here. Until the stream or until this live episode is fully rendered, once I stop streaming, my voice will probably be a bit choppy. Just a food of thought, because I was listening back to it before, and it was like, how do I say it? It was staticky, somewhat, like my voice was cutting in and out. So it's something to just remember. If you ever want to look back, just remember my audio is not going to be perfect right away. Give it, I would say, a day to play it safe, I think. Something like that. What's to see in the next video? Have not decided yet, but I will be working on that over the week. And we will have something for next Monday, which is going to be the new days for this show. Mondays, Monday afternoons, maybe Monday late mornings. Who knows? It depends on my schedule and all that. But this is how it'll be. Honestly, this was a kind of like a dry episode for me in terms of like talking, just because I'm reading off lists and all that. But sometimes that's all you got. Sometimes, right? Off season comes. What you got? Lists, because nothing's really going on. But in terms of off-season update, I will tell you right now, we are getting a little closer. Still working on putting together names for the transfer portal. I have budgets and all that figured out. I just got to get everything else put together. And if I can figure out how to do a certain something for the off-season in which coaches can, how do I say it, be able to access their own sheets, right? Low-key don't really want coaches seeing other team sheets and all that. So once I figure that out, I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But folks, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you all for taking the time to be with me today. Next Monday we will have our next episode, and maybe on that day or a little before, I will announce the topics that we will cover. And hey, we might even throw in an interview if anybody's willing to step up. So, thank you all. Have a great rest of your Monday. Take care. Stay safe. And college basketball season in real life is back. Has been back. So, indulge in it. Enjoy it. It's always fun. So, make sure you don't miss a beat. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care.